Life really doesn't offer do-overs. But as a certified financial planner, as a parent, I thought it'd be a good time for us to deal with some of the things that we wish we would have told our kids. And if you still have the opportunity, things you should tell your kids today. Join us on Consider This Program. Well, good morning and welcome to Consider This Program. I'm your host, Joe Clark.
And I'm Jamie Burton.
And we are just happy to have you along. Hope you're enjoying fall, getting ready for Halloween. I could not believe, Jamie, how quickly the decorations actually started to appear this year. I don't think it was halfway through September, and I'm starting to see little ghosty things.
Yeah, I think Christmas might be out also.
Well, I would do all that one better. There are scary things that go on, and I've got a 24-year-old, a 29-year-old, and children, and a son-in-law, and there's things that I was thinking about that I wish, if I could go back when they were 5 or 6 or 7, that I would tell them now, things that I wish I would have told them. What Jamie and I are going to do today is try to give you some things, if you still have that opportunity, or if you have grandkids, things that you may want to share with your kids today. So Jamie has got her degree in financial planning from Purdue University. She's one of our senior advisors in the Lafayette, Indiana office. Jamie, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so a lot of times what we see when people come in and they talk about their finances and what they have going on, we kind of see that money can be a taboo topic to talk about. And so what tends to happen is that from generation to generation to generation, instead of passing along money tips and really reflecting and seeing what money mistakes that you made yourself and passing that along to your kids and your grandkids, you kind of just don't talk about it. And then so the next generation has to make some of those same mistakes and learn for themselves. We want to try and make this topic less awkward and weird to talk about to our kids and our grandkids, so they don't have to live through those mistakes themselves and they can start being successful from the beginning.
It's like the uncle who didn't teach you how to fish and died knowing how to fish very well, but oh no, I'm not going to give that secret away. You're not going to use that bait. Or grandma dying with the apple pie recipe. Right? I mean, it's, these are things, folks, that they're much more important than food. And I know some people will shoot me for saying this, but it's much more important than food and fishing, right? This is finance. Mm-hmm. And how do we get people the best ideas that we've had from generation to generation, mm-hmm. and I think that's critical.
Yeah. And so one of the important things that we want to be able to pass down to our next generations is that you're not just making this money with no end game in sight. If you're just working to work, there really is not going to be a lot of excitement or really any point to it. So we want to be able to, when we're talking to these generations, say, hey, why are you working? What are you working towards? What's your goal that you have in mind? What is the vision that you see down the road? So that when you're really saving this money or deciding to spend it rather than save it, you know why you're making those decisions. You know why, instead of going and eating out 3 times a week, you're saving some of that money back, whether it's in your savings account or in some kind of retirement account, so you can meet those goals down along in the future. And that's something, if you don't teach them how to set those goals, it's setting them up for failure because they don't really have any excitement towards where they're going.
And goal setting may be natural to you listening to the show, but it is not natural.
No,
I assure you. This is not something that comes along for everybody to be able to figure it out. But what I'm hearing you say, Jamie, is we need to be intentional, mm-hmm. right? We want to be intentional about what we're teaching, and we want them to be intentional about what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to use a buzzword, and I don't want you to think that I've fit in with all of the other crazies in the world. I read a lot. That's my thing, right? I spend a lot of time reading it, and I stumbled across a book called Measure What Matters Most. And it's about OKRs, and OKRs are objectives and key results. And so, my youngest daughter graduated from nursing school this year, and I was thinking during the graduation as opposed to listening to the conversation. Probably not the right thing to do, but it was what happened. I want her to tell me what her objective is as being an RN, a nurse, mm-hmm. and then help her. Kind of come up with those and the cascading clarity for what is required for her to have the key results in order to meet that objective, as opposed to just going to, I think it's IU Health, I think is where she wound up. Instead of just doing that, figuring out, exactly what those things are. And that's what I would like you to do with your kids, right? As you sit down and you have this, and your objective for a 7-year-old may be different than an objective for a 15-year-old, but, help them understand, here's the objective. All right, so what are the 3 key results you have to make that objective come through? When I played football, right? Or when I wrestled, the objective may have been to make the starting line, or to win semi-state in wrestling, right? So what are the key results that I had to have? Well, weight had to be at a certain level, nutrition had to be at a certain level, and I probably needed to work out a certain amount of time. Right. So, you can kind of go at it with there. So, all right. So we've got them having an intention and helping them goal set. What's next?
Yeah. So once we have that goal in mind or that vision in mind, we need to be able to educate them to help them get to that goal. So something that we inherently all have as humans is what's called the double curse of knowledge. So what that means is I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what you don't know. So to go through life, you've already lived some of these mistakes, or you've educated yourself about the best way to save. So you might just assume that your kids or grandkids already know these things, but most likely they don't. So it's really best to overshare at this point in life. Really make sure to dig in and understand what they do know and how you can help them get to a point to where they are doing the best things that they possibly can, making the best choices to be able to achieve those goals in life.
It was the double curse of knowledge was revealed to me at Purdue, and I taught Jamie over a 7-year period of time and 14 semesters. But this is how important this really is. So, imagine me. I grew up in a family of school teachers, but I'm not a trained teacher. I'm a trained financial planner, right? So I show up at the first class, and I give my heart and soul on Mondays and Wednesdays at that point in time to teach Jamie and her class things that are going on financially, right? And then the second semester, new kids come in, and I start from where I left off with Jamie, right? Because in my mind, I had already taught it. Yep. And, other than the 5 wonderful humans that I have in my life that are, there's a lot more than that, but that actually work with us at the Financial Enhancement Group, that double curse of knowledge is what I learned. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I learned things all of the time, trust me, but I didn't know what Jamie in the next class didn't know. And so I had to start over 14 times. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we all make in many parts of our lives, but certainly in the financial world, is we have a presumption. The more we know about something, the more other people know about it, right? And so you would not come to me and expect me to understand how to plant soybeans or grow corn, if I didn't live in a farm community. Some odd reason, people will see me with my Jeep and assume I understand mechanics. Right, that is a poor assumption, right? A very, very sad assumption, but it is what happens. The more you learn about something, the more you believe other people know it too, and you really need to break that down and get into basics with your kids. Jamie said your kids, your grandkids. I'll even go to your spouse,
Ooh.
Right? Because there are things that that you probably haven't shared. All right, Jamie, back to you.
Yeah, so one thing that we know is that we can really start teaching our kids about money from a really young age. So one thing that you really can try and implement is in your house having chores and paying your kids for those chores. But something that we've talked about, that we've come up with to make kids kind of understand what taxes mean, is that you have these chores that you do to earn money, but then you also have chores that you do just because you live in the house. I mean, it's something that you have to do. You have to keep your room clean. You have to take your plate over to the sink after you're done eating dinner to help clean up the kitchen. Those are things that you can consider as taxes and try to teach them about how that tax system works by not paying them for those chores, but it's just something that they have to do in order to live in the house.
Yeah, and a lot of people use the words you have to give back, and I've had a lot of philosophical conversations on that. What I will tell you is I think it is important for your kids to understand that they are going to be part of a tax structure and are going to pay taxes. So however you choose to implement it, but teaching them about taxes early and often is important.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then what you can take a step further is, okay, that they've earned these this money from doing the chores that they do. Now what are they supposed to be doing with their money? So that's when you can take it a step further and say, okay, is there something, a goal that you have in mind that you want to save for so you can buy something? Or is it on your heart that you really think that you should gift to your favorite charity or a church and figure out a percentage that way? Or if they're ready to start saving, that's when you can start teaching them about saving money into investment accounts and getting that lesson of compound interest going. But that's a little bit later when they're a little bit older, when they're doing the chores in the house.
Don't get overwhelmed and think you have to do this all in one day.
Yes.
I mean, do those OKRs that I talked about. You know, the objective for a 7-year-old may be to learn these 3 things, right? And then an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, work through that way. But just be, as Jamie said in the beginning, intentional about this. And we have lots of resources at yourlifeafterwork.com. The checklist to tell you things that we think you should consider teaching your kids and your spouse about going on. Do not forget the double curse of knowledge. You know, you don't know what you don't know, but you also don't know what other people don't know. And if you're the one doing the teaching, you've got to make sure that you're able to go back to those basics. Go to yourlifeafterwork.com or call us at 800-928-4001. Get signed up for your Next Steps meeting. We look forward to working with you and your kids as part of our family bundling process. We help reduce financial regrets. We are legal fiduciaries. We look forward to meeting you and discussing your options.